That's Keith Urban. Baby, I'm in on 103.5 WEZL. And look who just dropped in
How about that?
to see what condition our condition was in.
Hello,
Nice,
Governor.
Nice of you to drop by, Governor.
Always a pleasure. It's kind of scary, though. Y'all need to do a little cleaning up in here. I'm getting worried about y'all.
Well, Gary's been gone a week. It's his job to tidy up.
His first day back. Governor Mark Sanford with us. Good to have you in town this morning.
Pleasure.
It's what was this, the Southern Leadership Conference? Is that
Right.
what?
It's basically legislative
From
across
that's right.
the Southeast gathered here in Charleston, and a number of different notables speaking, among them Ben Bernanke is actually speaking this morning, so I was going to be listening to what pearls of wisdom he has to throw out.
See what he has to say. Is this an idea sharing session, or is that what this is all about?
Not particularly with Bernanke,
Right.
but the larger context is legislative bodies basically stealing ideas from each other. Oh, that worked in your state, let me try it in mine.
Exactly.
And that's the way good ideas, in essence, grow across state lines. So it's a chance to share ideas, compare notes, and given these budget times that states are living in, there's a whole lot of sharing of notes.
And every time I hear that, I think back to a couple of years ago when we were talking, and it was a lot of the stuff you were saying 2 years ago is exactly what we're going through now. Is just let's learn to live lean, because that money's not going to be here 2 years from now, and here we are.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to sound the alarms as best we could, and we're here. I don't think we're out of the woods yet.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier just a moment ago. You're hearing some guardedly optimistic comments out there, but there's still, a way to go. I talked to a lot of small businesses around the state. They're still struggling. Credit markets are still tight. The global picture is still, I think, very, very mixed. And so we'll see. I'm almost of the school of we could go into double-dip recession, which I guess is the last thing in the world you want me to be saying on this radio show.
No, that's fine.
But I'm very, very skittish with regard to global economy, and that's why I'm going to be particularly interested to hear what Bernanke has to say.
Well, a couple of, the Grand Slam.
Short, I guess, put in layman's terms, we ain't out of the woods yet.
Exactly. I think everybody will agree with that. The Grand Slam this year, of course, Boeing coming to the state. That is, and I hear your name wrapped around that. I know you worked hard to help that process happen. That is, do we see anything else like that on the horizon, or is that our?
No, South Carolina has been phenomenally fortunate compared to a lot of other states. And that's not to say there aren't a lot of people out there hurting, that our unemployment isn't rate higher than we'd like it to be. But if you look at the number of people moving to our state and out of the upper Midwest and out of the Northeast because they believe that there are more opportunities in South Carolina than somewhere else, those numbers by themselves are phenomenal. What's also interesting, though, is South Carolina, in many cases, has been the recipient of consolidation in industry. So what happens is, for instance, over in Allendale, Crane and Company opened up a fairly significant facility, more than 1,000 employees. And they were going to, given the overall national and global slowdown, they were going to have to close the plant. The question is where they're going to close the plant, where they're going to consolidate. So they closed down a very significant operation in St. Louis, consolidated in South Carolina, and that has happened over and over and over again. As it comes down to between the choice of 2 or 3, they say, all right, I think we're going to, basically consolidate in South Carolina. So some of the global slowdown has actually accrued to South Carolina's benefit from the standpoint of investment. Hadn't helped us in the short run in terms of job growth, but in the long run, having those facilities here, we will be much better off. So there have been 6 1,000-plus job announcements here over the last year.
That's great.
So we've been very, very fortunate. But still, again, we ain't out of the woods yet.
Well, what's in the pamphlet? What are you guys selling that makes Charleston an attractive place for these consolidations to happen?
It's not just Charleston.
It's but South Carolina
as a whole.
South Carolina.
Well, in some cases, we're getting to the point of critical mass. And so, for instance, I was in Europe last week.
Right.
And there's a company that 1,000-plus job announcement coming up to Lawrence County, up at the opposite end of the state. And what happened there was with the second production line with BMW, it now got to the point of we might as well go ahead and open up our supply chain in South Carolina.
Okay.
They'd long been supplying BMW, but it got to the point of critical mass. And I think you're going to see the same kind of thing in the world of aviation. I never before understood how many different pieces go into an airplane and how many different suppliers end up saying, I got to be close to Boeing. So we're going to see some ripple effects still, much ripple effects still to come with Boeing. What we're selling in some cases is our sole conditions for business relative to other places around the country. The old saying is you don't have to outrun the bear, you just got to outrun the other fellow with you that's being chased by the bear. And so in some cases we got a long way to go as a state, but we're still relatively better than some other state. In other cases, it's support in Charleston, our ability to distribute or bring in supply from elsewhere in the world. From the standpoint of tourism and construction, which is just in the tanks right now, not so much the tourism, but absolutely the residential construction.
Right.
It's where we are in the South Atlantic from the standpoint of distribution. I'm giving you too long a list right now, but we're midway in the South Atlantic. We have a number of very strong features in our state. For some companies, it's the supply of fresh water. We have an abundant supply of fresh water compared to a lot of other places around the globe. So we have a lot of features. We shouldn't forget that as a state.
That's
as
great.
dismal as the global economy might be, we shouldn't forget all that is attracting people to our state. Much of it's 107 heat index.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Here at the
Really?
beginning of August. It gets a little warm, but come January, we'll appreciate it.
Mark Sanford with us this morning, and we'll be back and talk to him more here in just a second on WEZL.